Swadika and welcome to Newsline. We're broadcasting live on NBT Radio Thailand FM 88 and on NBT World. It's a Thursday, it's May 5th, the National Coronation Day, and you're with me, Sandra Hanutsaha. We're going to begin the show with our segment of Thailand Moves Forward. Now, in our first story, Deputy Prime Minister and Defense Minister General Prawit Wongsuwon has warned that posting information that distorts facts is punishable by law. General Prawit was speaking in regard to groups that have expressed their disapproval of the draft constitution over the internet, saying that the posts need to be in accordance with the facts. He said posts that are meant to persuade or dissuade people from voting for or against the new constitution are forbidden, as is posting distorted criticisms of the government. The defense minister added that regarding the recent crackdown on influential groups in Nakhon Pathom province and peace talks in the southern border provinces, all policies are being enacted as planned. The Constitution Drafting Commission is scheduled to meet with volunteers recruited by the National Legislative Assembly and the National Reform Steering Assembly to explain the draft charter next week. Constitution Drafting Commission, or CDC, Chairman Michai Ruchupan said that he has already discussed with First Vice President of the National Legislative Assembly, or NLA, Surachai Liengbunlechai, about the training plan for volunteers who will help explain the public referendum question. Mr. Michai said that the NLA has recruited 127 volunteers, while the National Reform Steering Assembly, or NRSA, has found 40 volunteers, and all of them will attend a training session on May 13th. He added that the upcoming training is scheduled to last 3 hours for the CDC to clarify all key points and details of the draft charter, which volunteers will be asked to share with the people they will meet to explain the referendum question. Mr. Michai said that the volunteers will also be working for the CDC and will be able to connect with people in their respective areas and help all comprehend what they need to understand. Despite the recent move by the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, to lower its global economic forecast for this year to 3.2% from 3.4%, in addition to downgrading Thailand's economic growth this year to 3%, the country's private sector still projects a growth rate for 2016 of 3 up to 3.5%. due to government disbursements and an expanding tourism sector. President of the Federation of Thai Industries, Jane Namchaisiri, revealed that the Joint Standing Committee on Commerce, Industry and Banking reported that the Thai economy faces risks from the global economy, but many begin to see signs of recovery, driven especially by government investments, with disbursements in the first half of 2016 accounting for 31.9% of the total investment budget, coupled with strong growth in the tourism sector. The Federation had therefore maintained its growth forecast for the Thai economy in 2016 of 3 up to 3.5%, and export growth this year approaching 2%. The Federation warns an appreciating baht could negatively affect the earnings of exporters. Meanwhile, Isra Wongkusonkit, chairman of the Board of Trade of Thailand, said Thailand's consumption trends have started to rise in the second quarter of the year, partly due to growth in the tourism sector, while purchasing power is expected to bounce back after the drought. The Thai National Shippers Council, or TNSC, has forecast that Thai exports will grow only between 0 and 2% this year due to several negative factors. TNSC President Nopon Thepsita said global prices of gold still continue to affect Thai exports. Following the recent International Monetary Fund, or IMF's, decision to revise down global economic growth from 3.4 to 3.2%, the TNSC decided to maintain the export growth at the maximum of 2%. Mr. Nopon added the revised, that is, growth figure would trigger capital movement among developing nations. The World Trade Organization has maintained its growth forecast for international trade at 2.8%, the same level as last year. The figure has been kept below 3% for 5 consecutive years, but it is expected to pick up soon after a recent sharp decline. The Thai baht is now the third strongest currency in Asia after the Philippines and Vietnam. It is likely to remain 35 baht per US dollar throughout the year. The Ministry of Commerce is seeking to lower costs for parents with children returning to school by extending its Returning Happiness New School Term Fair to May 15th, offering school supplies and other necessities at discounted prices. Director General of the Department of Internal Trade, Wibun Lak Romrak, said producers, retailers, and retail venues have all signed on to her department's effort to offer low-priced goods to parents preparing to have their children return for the new school term. The department's Returning Happiness New School Term Fair has been extended to May 15th from its original end date of May 10th. The decision to continue the fair came from the realization it ends during the upcoming long weekend, a prime opportunity for parents to shop, but also a time of high expenditure. School supplies, clothing, bags, shoes, and other necessities for children will be discounted up to 80% at the fair, which will be present at over 13,500 retail venues across the nation. The Department of Internal Trade believes 9 billion baht will be saved by parents who purchase goods at the fairs. The Ministry of Commerce is searching for measures to take care of laborers whose income is not sufficient enough to cover expenditures. Director General of the Internal Trade Department, Wibun Lak Romrak, met with Director of the Center for Economic and Business Forecasting, Thanawat Ponwichai. They agreed that those who earn less than 15,000 baht a month must be assisted by the government in an effort to prevent household debt from rising. The center's recent survey found that product prices and the cost of living were still high. The department will arrange blue flag product fairs to sell discounted goods and ready-to-eat foods at low prices in front of factories nationwide. The price of each menu will be lower than 35 baht. The Ministry of Energy has held an awards ceremony for the winners of the Energy for Life project, a campaign encouraging youth to become more attuned to the importance of energy conservation. The 3-year project, which started in 2013 and concluded at the end of last year, was a cooperative venture arranged by the Energy Ministry, the Education Ministry, the Office of the Basic Education Commission, and the Electricity Generating Public Company Limited, or ECO. Upon the completion of the project last year, 18 instructors were selected to receive an award for their success as role models in providing energy conservation education. The organizers also recognized 5 schools as deserving of awards for their exemplary efforts in promoting the cause among their students. The main objective of the Energy for Life campaign was educating high school instructors about energy conservation measures in order that they might pass on their knowledge to their students about implementing His Majesty the King's sufficiency economy philosophy and sustainable use of energy.
The objective of Energy for Life project are to instill energy and environmental conservation consciousness to use mindset and support role model school with the whole school approach concept.
According to Minister of Energy General Anantaporn Kanchanarat, the campaign took into consideration the current energy situation in Thailand and was conducted in line with the government's Pracharat projects, which integrate energy conservation efforts being made by all sides. 60 schools nationwide participated in the campaign, sending their best instructors to learn about energy conservation and environment preservation. Approximately 800 teachers formed a network and created more than 200 curricula related to energy conservation, covering science, maths, vocational education and technology, and social studies, to name a few. The Government Public Relations Department, or PRD, held a ceremony in which the best performing divisions within the PRD were given awards as part of the PRD's 83rd anniversary celebration. The minister attached to the Prime Minister's office, Mom Luang Panatta Disakun, chaired the PRD award ceremony at the PRD headquarters in Bangkok. The Director General of the Government Public Relations Department, Apinanjan Tarangsi, said that the event was held in order to emphasize the good work of Public Relations Department civil servants.
On the occasion of the PRD's 83rd anniversary, it is very important to emphasize the good work of PRD civil servants. For years now, PRD officials have been working hard to produce information for both TV and radio in every province. The awards given in this ceremony are considered to be tokens of appreciation for PRD officials who have tirelessly worked in accordance with the government policy for all of these years.
At the event, well-respected individuals, including Chairman of the Executive Board and Managing Director of Amata Corporation Public Company, Wikrom Gromadit, and former Secretary General of ASEAN, Surin Pitsuwan, gave motivational speeches on how the PRD is playing a vital role in creating a bridge of understanding between the government and the people, as well as the international community. The Bangkok Mass Transit Authority, or BMTA, has introduced 4 newly refurbished buses to the public transport network, while the Ministry of Transport will urge the Cabinet to approve an overhaul of Bangkok's bus system, a project worth 4.3 billion baht. The newly refurbished buses were a collaboration between the King Mongkut's Institute of Technology, Lat Krabang, and Thai Charan Yang Service Company Limited. The vehicles are equipped with improvements to safety features as well as CCTV and GPS navigation systems. The buses were put into service on May 4th on routes 178, 168, 73 Gaw and 36 Gaw. Deputy Transport Minister Sin Chiwapruk revealed this week that the BMTA plans on refurbishing an additional 668 buses and will propose this month that the Cabinet approve the procurement of 489 NGV-powered buses and 200 electric-powered buses worth 4.3 billion baht. And that is the end of today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. It's time for a break now, but first we'll have a look at the exchange rates and also the commodity prices.
The Earth is your home. The ocean is theirs as well. Working together, the government and private sector can solve all the issues currently facing the Thai fishing industry. From legitimizing fishing operations to helping out our fellow fishermen and collaborating with international parties.
ตอนนี้ถึงเวลาแล้วนะครับที่เราจะต้องมาร่วมมือกันทำให้มันถูกต้องมันก็ต้องปรับตัวในช่วงแรกแต่ในระยะยาวมันก็คุ้มค่า
ถ้าไม่มีอาชีพนี้เราก็ไม่รู้จะทำอะไรกันแล้วผมก็พร้อมครับที่จะเป็นส่วนหนึ่งในการแก้ปัญหา
Pad Thai, created from Thai wisdom, used to be served on banana leaf, and the banana tree is used for practicing Muay Thai. Muay Thai was trained in the temples, which can be found on the mountains, in the caves, or on the water, everywhere, just like Pad Thai. There are thousands of other stories to discover. Discover your amazing stories in amazing Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline, and in our ASEAN news, the Sakonakorn Ratchapat University, in cooperation with several government and private sector units, recently held a seminar to promote tourism in the northeastern region in the wake of the establishment of the ASEAN community. Participants included students and instructors of the Sakonakorn Ratchapat University, government officials, and business representatives. They exchanged experience and knowledge about the tourism industry management, the information from which would be used in the formulation of guidelines for tourism development in the region. Currently, 3 provinces in the northeast, namely Sakonakorn, Nakhon Phanom, and Mukdahan, have teamed up in tourism cooperation, calling themselves a fun-filled group of provinces. Organizers hoped that the event would prepare students of the hospitality and tourism faculty for jobs after their graduation, helping them to adapt to various real-life situations and keep up with changes in the tourism industry. The event would raise public awareness about the importance of developing the fun tourism segment, in which the ability to use foreign languages is essential to improve Thailand's competitiveness in ASEAN tourism. In our global news, the European Commission on Wednesday proposed to the European Parliament and Council of the European Union to lift the EU visa requirements for Turkish citizens. According to a Commission press release, the proposal was presented together with a report on progress made by Turkey in fulfilling the requirements of visa liberalization, under the understanding that Turkish authorities will fulfill the quote-unquote outstanding benchmarks. European Commission First Vice President Frans Timmermans said that Turkey has made, quote, impressive progress, particularly in recent weeks, on meeting the benchmarks of its visa liberalization roadmap.
There is still work to be done as a matter of urgency. But if Turkey sustains the progress made and continues at the same pace, they can meet the remaining benchmarks. This is why we are now in a position to put forward a proposal which opens the way for the European Parliament and Member States to decide to lift visa requirements once the benchmarks have been met. There is no free ride here, and we are clear about what remains to be done. There are 5 remaining benchmarks that we expect Turkey to meet by the end of June.
Timmermans stressed that Turkey also needs to update its passports to meet the latest biometric standards by the end of the year. The EU Commissioner for Migration, Home Affairs and Citizenship, Dimitris Ramapoulos, said that the Turkish authorities have made remarkable progress since the March 18th EU-Turkey summit, and that the EU trusts that Turkey is committed to delivering on all fronts as soon as possible, adding that the Commission will continue to monitor the continuous fulfilling of these criteria. The UN said it welcomed a statement released by the United States that it had agreed with Russia to extend a cessation of hostilities to include Aleppo, where intense day-long violence between Syrian rebels and government forces killed dozens of people. At a special Security Council session convened to discuss the situation in Aleppo, UN political chief Jeffrey Feltman urged, quote, parties to abide by this immediately and comprehensively. Feltman said reports of violence in recent days and the, quote, horrifying image of attacks on hospitals and government and opposition-held neighborhoods of the city are considered war crimes. He urged the Council to consider Secretary General Ban Ki-moon's call for referring the case to the International Criminal Court. Feltman said a consolidated truce and greater humanitarian aid access were needed to ensure the next round of Syria peace talks set for this month were credible. The surge in bloodshed in Aleppo, Syria's largest city and biggest strategic prize, wrecked the first major cessation of hostilities agreement of the war, sponsored by Washington on Moscow, which had held since February. A wildfire that raged out of control destroyed much of one neighborhood in a remote western Canadian city named Fort McMurray and badly damaged others, the local government said on Wednesday, May 4th, with all 80,000 residents ordered to leave in the biggest evacuation in the area's history. Firefighters in the city, located in the northeastern part of the province of Alberta, in the heart of Canada's oil sands, braced for another tough day. Hot, dry weather has made it difficult to bring the fire under control. By early on Wednesday morning, Shell had closed one oil sands mine and was in the process of closing another. Chief Financial Officer Simon Henry said the company's priority was safety and to support the community. Henry said upgraders, which process oil sands to produce crude, would operate for a few more days. The regional government on Tuesday ordered the evacuation of all city residents, but getting out remained difficult. The route out of Fort McMurray was complicated by a highway closure caused by the fire, and gasoline shortages prevented some people from being able to drive away. Some 44,000 people had fled the city by late on Tuesday, local officials said. And that's all the time we have for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook by simply typing in NNT, and have a look at our website at thainews.prd.go.th/en. We're going to say goodbye with some footage of tigers and cheetahs cooling off in the pool at Koratsu. For Newsline, I'm Sandra Han Saha. Have a wonderful day and a great holiday. Sawadee ka.